Pretty nasty looking day outside. Looks very rainy. Not looking so nice. But I don't know if I've ever told you guys. How's the light? Let's see. How about out here? I don't know if I've ever told you guys the actual story about why I don't eat beef or pork. I only eat chicken. Back when I was in high school, maybe like a freshman, I stopped eating meat altogether. I was a vegetarian for all of high school and then a little bit of college too. What little bit of college I went to. And sorry, still early. I'm not having a lot of fun processing thoughts. And then I started working and I was getting real tired all the time. I was like, oh, I'm so tired. Like at noon I was like tired. And so I figured I needed more B12. So what I did is I was like, alright, let's try chicken. So I started eating chicken, made me feel a lot better. I didn't get sick, and every once in a while I get pieces of like beef or something in my food, and it makes my tum-tum hurt. So I can't eat beef or pork, but I can eat chicken, and chicken's good, and it helps keep me awake and alert. Watch Couples Retreat. Was it any good? I'll let you know. Well, that wasn't too bad of a movie. I mean, it wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen in my life, but it was pretty good. And there's some funny parts. I would say it compares to what? Okay, here it is. Perfect example. Couples Retreat, which is what we just saw, is as good comparatively as Club Dread was to Super Troopers. Does that make any sense? Like, Club Dread, not really that funny. It was, there were some funny parts, but Super Troopers was hysterically funny. Quotable movie all day long. And then you've got Club Dread, not so good, not as quotable, not as many funny things happen. And so we come into Couples Retreat. Couples Retreat, sort of funny, absolutely, positively, no quotable anything. Comparatively, say like Swingers. A lot of the same cast, not all of them. But, Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. Those guys were both in Swingers. Totally quotable movie. Great movie. Good lines. So that's my comparison. I think you guys just took a trip into my brain, and it was crazy. Ever happened to you guys where you have a perfectly good thought in your head, makes sense in your head, and you're like, okay, let me explain this to you. And then you explain it to them, and somebody, or you explain it to anybody, not just, there it goes again. So you try to explain it to somebody, and they're like, well, what are you talking about? And you're like, this, and this. It makes sense. But to them, it's like Egyptian. That is my life. Back when I was in high school, the kids used to always laugh. Not at me. I would say it was with me. Because they would always say, oh, there's another Tim story. Because I used to tell these stories that didn't really have a point. But to me, I think I just like telling stories. So I would tell a story, doesn't have a point, and everybody would be waiting for the point, and they're like, and I'm like, that's it, that's the end of the story. They're like, why did you just tell me that story? It doesn't have a point. And I'm like, but wasn't it a great story? Here's a perfect example. One time, when I was younger, I swam. I swam all through high school. I played water polo and swam. And we beat in a swim meet. Had to have been a swim meet, right? No. Had to have been a water... I don't even... It would see inconsequential. I think it was a water polo game. We beat the big rival school in town here. And we were all so excited. And me and two of my friends were like, ooh, let's go out, drive around the town. And I used to drive a 1981 AMC Concorde. A lot of you guys probably don't even know the motor company AMC. American Motor Company, Corporation, Company, whatever it is. But they were the original makers of Jeep. Doesn't really matter for this story. So, had an AMC Concorde, not four-wheel drive. It was a station wagon. Hatchback station wagon. If you guys know what a Gremlin is, AMC made a Gremlin. If you've ever seen Wayne's World, the car in Wayne's World is a Gremlin. So I pretty much had a long version of a Gremlin that didn't look as cool. So, back to the story. We decided to go out and celebrate. And so we're driving around all over town, we're yelling out the window and everything, and then we get to this one spot that I'm like, I think there's some mudding trails back there. If you guys are from the north, down here in the south, big trucks are kind of a big deal, so everybody goes mudding. I didn't have a big truck, but we decided to go mudding anyways. And so we went out mudding in my little station wagon, and we hit this big rut. And cars, when they drive through a rut a bunch of times, they make two marks, not one solid mark like a road, two wheel marks. And if you don't have a big tall truck, your car will bottom out. That happened to me. So I'm sitting there in this rut with my 1981 AMC Concorde station wagon, blue with wood paneling down the sides, pitch black, mosquitoes everywhere in the middle of a swamp, buried with the frame of the car sitting on the ground. Actually, I take that back. It wasn't me and two of my friends. It was me and one of my friends. And then we called another friend who had a Bronco, who came out to try to tow us out, but couldn't get us out because we didn't have the right tow straps. We just had those little like cinches for holding down kayaks. Doesn't work. They broke. Like 5 of them broke. And then we called one of my friend's dads out there, and he couldn't get us out, so we finally had to call a tow truck, and then we got out. That's my story. How'd you guys like that trip inside my mind? Did I blow yours? I'll see you guys tomorrow. And now, you guys are going to pay the price, because that story is going to be running through your head on repeat, and it's going to drive you a little bit crazy. Like me. Pay the price.